coming up next.
What's happened to Klay Thompson's jump shot?
And like I said, I'll break down. There are two reasons why Klay Thompson is no longer Klay Thompson.
I got two reasons.
Two reasons.
It's his form and it's his brain. It's his actual shot mechanics, and it's what's going on between the ears.
I ain't got a good brain.
And if you've ever shot a basketball, you know that these two are connected. But let's start off with the first one, where that's his form, which really has changed. I remember watching this a while ago when he came back from his ACL and Achilles and all of his injuries. And you could see when Klay Thompson stands, his right leg, where all those injuries happened, is actually much skinnier than his left. It just doesn't have the same strength. But I like to go to games and watch him warm up, and I used to do that when he was on Gold State. First thing I thought of was, like, when did Klay start shooting from the side?
Where'd you learn to shoot like that?
Like, when did Klay start shooting right around his right eyeball? That's a new form. That's a new mechanic. And if you're a shooter or just a fan of basketball, you can see before the injury, when he first was in the league, he had a perfectly vertical, high release. The release was centered right over his forehead, elbow straight. And after the injury, and he got weak in that right leg of his, he suddenly was right side dominant. Suddenly, it's a lower set point right above his right eye, and he had to twist his hips more. And there's a flatter base. It's just more of a Stockton-esque, almost side release. That is not what he used to do pre-injury. And so I always thought it, and then it was confirmed in articles I Googled recently, and it didn't just affect the trajectory and his elbow and everything else. It was the arc. This has actually been factually proven. Look it up. Second Spectrum, pre-injury. His arch on his threes was a 46-degree arch angle, and after the injury, it dropped to 44.1. Some nights dipped all the way below 42%, and they said that 45% arc or parabola, whatever you need to kind of understand what I'm talking about, is the actual arch, the perfect one that you want. He used to have an even higher arch at 46 degrees. After the injuries, it dropped underneath the 44. And when you flatten an arc, even 2 degrees in a pro level like that, it's a big deal. It shrinks the rim mathematically. Less parabola means less of a angle going into the rim, means less touch, means less forgiveness, means you hit the front rim a lot, means you don't have as much room for error. It's just simple physics and biology. If you don't have that same lift anymore, and less leg drive and less jump and less pop, and you're trying to generate that power now because that leg, you're compensating by lowering your release point and going more in your hips and pushing with your arms and your shoulder, the release becomes lower, it becomes faster, but the shot also flattens. And so it's the same guy, but it's a different jump shot. And when your form changes even a little bit at this level, it makes a huge difference in percentage. So a lot of this really is truly the injury caused him because of leg strength to change his shot. And if you want to look, I have some pictures and videos as I'm running this. You'll see them. But it's different, man. There's not the same as he once was when he had full strength. The other part of this, and this is a big one, and this happens to everyone in sports in all sorts of ways, it's just the mental game. Klay Thompson's head is just not what it used to be.
I ain't got a good brain.
Look, shooting is a mental thing. It always has been. Klay doesn't look just nervous now. He doesn't play with the same joy or same freedom, and he has just the mental version of a broken jumper.
Sounds like you have mental problems, man.
And if you need examples to explain what I'm talking about, I won't give you one, I'll give you two. I've seen this happen to two other players, and I'll make it a perfect example of the yips and what I'm talking about and what I see with Klay Thompson. First one, some of you hoop heads might remember a guy named John Starks. New York Knicks, great story, great shooter, back in the late 90s when three-point wasn't in vogue the way it is now. Bright future for the New York Knicks, and in Game 7 of the 1994 Finals, he went 2 of 18 from the field, 0 of 11 from 3. A lot of people consider it just one of the worst choke jobs they've ever seen. And he says really that Game 7 debacle came from Game 6 because Game 6 he had a chance at a game winner. Olajuwon blocked it. He said afterward he couldn't sleep, and that miss lived in his head, and then it transferred over to Game 7 where he just stunk up the gym. Again, 2 of 18, 0 of 11 from 3. When I tell you John Starks never mentally recovered from that, you look at the numbers and just go look at old videos, dude. He just dipped. He just never mentally was able to shoot with the same freedom or confidence that he did post Game 6 and 7 of the NBA Finals. My second example, and a lot of y'all should know this one, Nick Anderson. Nick Anderson of the Orlando Magic, once Mr. Reliable, the veteran leader of that team, in 1995, Game 1 of the NBA Finals versus those also Houston Rockets, he missed 4 straight free throws that would have sealed the win. He was once a great free throw shooter, misses 4 in a row, and they don't go just from losing a game that they should have won. They go from a possible dynasty to being swept. It led to fights. Next thing you know, Penny's gone, Shaq's gone. He and the Magic never recovered, and he was once at least a 70% free throw shooter. After that debacle dropped down to 40%. He said he just couldn't get over it. There was a loop in his head of him missing those shots. He said it was like a VCR tape recorder just going back and forth. Every time he got fouled, he suddenly didn't want to go to the free throw line. He went from 70% from the line to 40% from the line. It's the yips, man. It's the brain hijinks. It's the mechanics, and I just see it with Klay right now. You went on to Dallas, and there's now hesitation. He doesn't shoot with confidence or freedom, along with the form problems, and it's something you leave a good place. Dude, Klay could miss eight in a row, and they'd say, dude, shoot the ninth. He always had freedom and carte blanche in that city and that team to shoot the ball. He had earned it. In Dallas, he just doesn't have it, and every shot he takes, he looks like he's hoping that it'll go in. It looks like more like a test. Every shot just feels heavier, and so he's not just trying to find his shot. He's trying to remember who he was. He's not getting there. 7.4 points per game for Klay Thompson is absolutely abysmal. And I will just go back to, like I've said it 27 times now, be careful what you wish for. This might just be another cautionary tale of a guy who didn't just leave for money. He also wanted to get meaning and joy back and thought he'd be with Luka and more freedom and all. He had all sorts of ideas. Next thing you know, it's nothing but noise and doubt, and you can rebuild your knee, but you can't always rebuild confidence, and I just feel sad for him because, man, Klay Thompson once upon a time was truly an argument of who is better at shooting a basketball, Klay or Steph, and you had a fair point on both sides. Now it's clearly one guy still doing his thing and the other one really on his way out, man. Maybe he can just keep driving Megan the Stallion around and hanging out with her, man. Maybe she can give him some more confidence because, Jesus, Klay ain't Klaying, and it's just a sad thing to see.
Tricky Guy Sports.
Full episode online now. Subscribe or the joke's on you.